The fluorescent lights of the orbital research station buzzed with an artificial hum that seemed to mirror Ethan Rodriguez's perpetual state of nervous energy. Unlike the polished students who strutted through the hallways of Interstellar University, he was the kind of person who blended into the background, a walking testament to overlooked potential. His workstation was a controlled chaos of holographic displays, quantum circuit boards, and half-empty nutrient pouches. Most of his colleagues considered him eccentric, if they noticed him at all. But Ethan possessed something far more valuable than social graces, an unrelenting curiosity that borderlined on obsession. The current project consuming his attention was a radical approach to quantum entanglement communication, a field that had stumped researchers for decades. While others saw dead ends, Ethan saw possibilities. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, manipulating complex algorithms that seemed to defy conventional understanding. Professor Mariana Valdez, the station's lead quantum communication researcher, rarely paid attention to junior researchers. But something about the intricate patterns forming on Ethan's display caught her eye. She approached his workstation, her augmented reality glasses scanning the developing algorithm. "Rodriguez," she said sharply, making him jump, "explain what you're working on." Ethan's heart raced. This was not the typical interaction he experienced. Most instructors barely acknowledged his existence. He took a deep breath and began explaining his breakthrough. "I've discovered a method to create quantum communication channels that can potentially bypass traditional signal degradation," he said, his words picking up speed as excitement overtook his usual nervousness. "By using a multidimensional entanglement matrix, we could potentially create instantaneous communication across unprecedented distances." Professor Valdez's expression remained neutral, but her augmented reality glasses were rapidly processing the data. She recognized the potential immediately, something that could revolutionize interstellar communication. What Ethan didn't know was that his research had already caught the attention of entities far beyond the university's walls. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, sophisticated monitoring systems had detected the unique quantum signature of his breakthrough. The Krylonian Collective, a technologically advanced alien civilization, had been searching for precisely this type of communication breakthrough. Their vast interstellar network relied on communication technologies, and any advancement could provide a significant strategic advantage. As Ethan continued his work, unaware of the cosmic attention he had attracted, the first signs of interest began to manifest. Subtle electronic signatures started pinging across various monitoring systems, a digital ripple that would soon become a wave of unprecedented consequence. Professor Valdez's next words would change everything. "Rodriguez, I want you to prepare a full presentation of your research for next week's symposium. Your work, it might be more important than you realize." Little did Ethan know that his seemingly academic pursuit was about to thrust him into a conflict that would determine the fate of humanity's place in the cosmic community. The quantum algorithms dancing across his display were more than just mathematical curiosities, they were the first notes in a symphony of potential galactic confrontation. As the station's artificial day cycle began to dim, casting long shadows across the research floor, Ethan remained oblivious to the profound implications of his work. He was simply a young researcher, driven by an insatiable desire to understand the universe's deepest mysteries. The stage was set. Humanity's unexpected champion was about to be called into a game far larger than he could imagine. The transmission came through unexpectedly, a burst of encrypted data that would have gone unnoticed by anyone less meticulous than Admiral Garrett Sullivan. His weathered hands, mapped with decades of interstellar service, moved across the holographic interface with practiced precision. "Decrypt this," he muttered to his AI assistant, a sophisticated system that had been his constant companion through numerous planetary conflicts. The message originated from a source unlike anything in human communication archives. Its quantum signature was unmistakable, alien in origin, sophisticated beyond current human understanding. And at its core was a curious resonance that matched the recent breakthrough by Ethan Rodriguez. Halfway across the orbital research station, Ethan was oblivious to the growing interest his work had generated. His presentation at the symposium had been a whirlwind of technical diagrams and complex mathematical models. Most attendees had been lost in the intricate details, but a few key researchers recognized the potential breakthrough. Admiral Sullivan's communication center was a hub of controlled tension. The Krylonian Collective was no mere theoretical threat. Intelligence reports had been mounting for months, strange energy signatures, unexplained spatial distortions, and increasingly aggressive reconnaissance missions near human-controlled space. Director Zhang, Sullivan spoke into the communication array, "We need to convene an emergency briefing." Director Wei Zhang was a veteran of interstellar diplomacy, her reputation built on a delicate balance of scientific insight and strategic thinking. She arrived at the briefing room with a holographic file floating beside her, containing Ethan Rodriguez's research. "His quantum communication model," she said, studying the data, "it's more than just a theoretical breakthrough. It's a potential defense mechanism." The room filled with high-ranking military and scientific personnel. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing increasingly concerning data about the Krylonian Collective's movements. These weren't random exploratory missions, they were strategic positioning. Admiral Sullivan brought up a star map. "They're establishing communication relays near our outer colonies. Each placement is calculated, precise. They're preparing something big." What they didn't know was that deep in Krylonian space, a strategic meeting was taking place. Commander Zoran, a veteran of numerous interstellar conflicts, stood before a holographic representation of human territories. "Their communication technologies are improving," reported senior strategist Krell. "The Rodriguez algorithm could disrupt our long-range communication networks." Zoran's metallic exoskeleton shifted, reflecting the ambient light of the strategy room. "Then we must act before they fully understand its potential." Back on the orbital station, Ethan continued his research, unaware that his work had become a critical piece in a cosmic chess game. Professor Valdez approached him, her expression more serious than usual. "Rodriguez," she said quietly, "how confident are you about the scalability of your quantum communication model?" Ethan looked up, surprised by her direct approach. "The theoretical applications are vast," he explained. "It could potentially create communication channels that are not just faster, but fundamentally more secure. Traditional encryption becomes obsolete when you can create instantaneous, uninterceptable quantum links." What Ethan didn't realize was that his words were being carefully noted, not just by his professor, but by listening ears far beyond the immediate research environment. The Krylonian Collective was preparing. Humanity was about to face a threat that would test the very limits of its technological innovation and collective resilience. And at the center of this potential conflict was an unlikely hero, a brilliant but overlooked researcher whose quantum communication breakthrough might just become humanity's most critical defense. As the artificial day cycle dimmed across the orbital station, the first subtle movements of an impending galactic confrontation were already in motion. The research complex buzzed with an electric tension that even the station's advanced sound dampening systems couldn't entirely mask. Ethan Rodriguez found himself at the center of a rapidly expanding project, surrounded by a team of researchers he would have never imagined working alongside just weeks earlier. Dr. Camil Reyes, the lead quantum systems engineer, spread a holographic display across the central workspace. His dark eyes scanned the intricate quantum communication model that Ethan had originally developed. "We're not just looking at communication anymore," Dr. Reyes explained to the assembled team. "Rodriguez's algorithm presents a potential defensive technology that could revolutionize our approach to interstellar security." The team included specialists from diverse backgrounds, quantum physicists, communication experts, military strategists, and computational engineers. Each brought a unique perspective to the expanding project, but Ethan remained the critical nexus of their collective effort. Lieutenant Commander Helena Novak, a veteran of several deep space reconnaissance missions, approached the project with a pragmatic eye. "The Krylonian Collective doesn't make random moves," she warned. "If they're showing interest in this technology, it means they see it as a potential threat, or a weapon." Ethan's fingers danced across the holographic interface, manipulating complex quantum entanglement models. What had started as a theoretical research project was rapidly transforming into something far more critical. Each breakthrough revealed new possibilities, and new potential vulnerabilities. The key, Ethan explained, his voice gaining confidence, is not just in creating a communication channel, but in making it adaptive. Traditional communication can be intercepted, decoded. But a quantum network that constantly reshapes its own communication matrices? That's something entirely different. Admiral Sullivan, who had been monitoring the project closely, understood the strategic implications immediately. The Krylonian Collective had long maintained technological superiority in deep space communication. This could be the breakthrough humanity needed. In a secured communication hub thousands of miles away, Director Wei Zhang briefed a select group of international leaders. The holographic display showed the potential of Ethan's research, a network of quantum communication relays that could potentially create an instantaneous, unbreakable information grid. We're not just developing a communication technology, she emphasized. We're creating a defensive network that could fundamentally alter our approach to interstellar security. The research team worked with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Long shifts blended into longer ones. Nutrient pouches and caffeine supplements became their primary sustenance. Ethan, who had once been nearly invisible in the research complex, was now its central figure. But the Krylonian Collective was watching. Deep in their advanced communication centers, strategists were analyzing every quantum signature, every minute transmission. They understood that this human breakthrough represented more than just a technological advancement, it was a potential existential threat to their galactic dominance. Commander Zoran reviewed the intercepted data streams. They're close to something significant, he reported to the Senior Strategic Council. We cannot allow them to complete this technology. Back in the research complex, a breakthrough was brewing. The first contact came without warning. A massive energy signature erupted near the outer colonial defense perimeter, ripping through the carefully maintained buffer zones that humanity had established over decades of interstellar expansion. Admiral Garrett Sullivan's command center transformed instantly from a research coordination hub to a full-scale military operation. Holographic displays flickered with incoming data, each pulse of information revealing the scale of the incoming threat. Confirm visual, Sullivan barked, his weathered hands moving across the tactical interface with practiced precision. The image resolved, a Krylonian battle fleet, its sleek obsidian ships forming a geometric pattern that spoke of cold, calculated aggression. Unlike previous encounters, this was no reconnaissance mission. This was an invasion force. Ethan Rodriguez had been transferred to the Emergency Command Center hours earlier. His quantum communication network, once a theoretical project, was now humanity's most critical defensive asset. Dr. Camille Reyes stood beside him, final calibrations running through their adaptive communication matrix. The network is live, Reyes confirmed, his voice tight with tension. But we've never tested it under full combat conditions. Lieutenant Commander Helena Novak approached the duo, her military-issue augmented reality interface displaying real-time combat projections. This is where theory meets reality, she muttered. The first wave of Krylonian attack ships approached the colonial defense line. Traditional communication systems would have been overwhelmed, jammed, or completely disabled. But Ethan's quantum network did something unprecedented. It adapted. Each attempted Krylonian communication intrusion was met with an instantaneous quantum response. The communication network wasn't just a passive system, it was learning, shifting, creating communication channels that the alien technology couldn't predict or penetrate. They're trying to break through, Ethan said, watching the holographic displays. His fingers moved across the interface, the quantum matrices reshaping themselves in real time. But the network is changing faster than they can respond. Admiral Sullivan watched in amazement. The Krylonian ships, renowned for their technological superiority, were being systematically isolated. Their complex communication systems, the backbone of their military strategy, were being rendered useless by a network that seemed to think and breathe like a living organism. Commander Zoran, leading the Krylonian invasion force, realized something was wrong. The human defense was nothing like their intelligence had predicted. Where were the vulnerabilities? Where was the technological weakness they had planned to exploit? Recalibrate communication protocols, Zoran commanded, his metallic exoskeleton shifting with barely contained frustration. But each attempt was met with another quantum shift, another unexpected defensive maneuver. In the command center, the human team watched in a mixture of terror and emerging hope. This wasn't just a defensive stand, this was a fundamental challenge to the Krylonians' perceived technological supremacy. Dr. Reyes leaned close to Ethan. "Do you understand what's happening?" he whispered. "Your communication model isn't just defending. It's exposing vulnerabilities in their entire technological infrastructure." Indeed, with each quantum interaction, the human network was learning. Discovering weaknesses in Krylonian communication protocols that had been considered impenetrable. The very technology the aliens had used to maintain galactic dominance was being systematically dismantled. Lieutenant Commander Novak's tactical display showed something extraordinary. The Krylonian ships were becoming increasingly isolated, their complex communication networks fragmenting under the adaptive human quantum system. "They didn't expect this," Novak said, a hint of triumph in her voice. "They thought we were technologically inferior. But we've just rewritten the rules of engagement." As the first phase of the battle concluded, it became clear that this was more than a defensive action. This was a statement. Humanity wasn't just surviving, they were demonstrating that innovation, adaptability, and collaborative thinking could overcome seemingly insurmountable technological barriers. Ethan Rodriguez looked at the displays, a mix of scientific wonder and growing understanding in his eyes. What had begun as a theoretical research project had just become humanity's most powerful weapon. The Krylonian collective was about to learn a critical lesson: never underestimate a species capable of transforming challenges into opportunities. The aftermath of the initial confrontation was unlike anything the galactic community had ever witnessed. What had begun as a seemingly straightforward invasion had transformed into a profound lesson in technological evolution. In the days following the first battle, diplomatic channels buzzed with unprecedented activity. The Krylonian collective found themselves in a position they had never anticipated, facing a species that had not just defended itself, but had fundamentally challenged their technological paradigm. Admiral Garrett Sullivan stood before the United Earth Council, his presentation displaying the quantum communication network's performance during the conflict. Holographic displays showed how Ethan Rodriguez's technology had systematically neutralized the most advanced communication systems in known space. "This isn't just a defensive breakthrough," Sullivan explained, his voice carrying the weight of decades of military experience. "This is a fundamental reimagining of interstellar communication and defense." Ethan Rodriguez, once an overlooked researcher, now found himself at the center of humanity's most significant technological revolution. Director Wei Zhang had ensured he was present for the council briefing, recognizing that his insights were now crucial to humanity's future. Commander Zoran of the Krylonian Collective requested an unprecedented diplomatic meeting. The quantum communication breakthrough had exposed more than just technological vulnerabilities, it had revealed fundamental limitations in the Krylonian approach to innovation. The meeting took place on a neutral space station, a testament to the delicate diplomatic dance that was about to unfold. Ethan sat alongside Admiral Sullivan and Director Zhang, representing humanity's most advanced minds. "Your technology," Zoran began, his metallic form reflecting the station's ambient lighting, "it is not just a communication network. It is a living system." Ethan nodded, explaining the core principle behind his breakthrough. Traditional communication relies on fixed protocols. Our network adapts. It learns. It doesn't just transmit information, it understands context, anticipates challenges, and creates solutions in real time. The implications were profound. The quantum communication network represented more than a technological achievement. It was a philosophy of innovation, a demonstration of human creativity, adaptability, and collaborative thinking. Lieutenant Commander Helena Novak presented the strategic analysis. The network had not just defended human territories, it had provided insights into Krylonian communication technologies that could reshape interstellar diplomatic and military strategies. "We're not looking for conflict," Director Zhang stated firmly. "But we will defend our right to innovate, to grow, to explore." The Krylonian delegation was forced to acknowledge a painful truth. Humanity was not a species to be underestimated or conquered. They were adaptable, innovative, and capable of transforming challenges into opportunities. In the weeks that followed, the quantum communication network became a topic of intense study across multiple civilizations. Research teams from various species sought to understand the principles behind this revolutionary technology. Ethan Rodriguez, once an overlooked researcher, had become a symbol of human potential. His work demonstrated that true innovation comes not from technological superiority, but from the ability to think differently, to adapt, to collaborate. The United Earth Council established the Rodriguez Institute of Quantum Communications, ensuring that the spirit of innovation would continue to drive human technological development. Admiral Sullivan, addressing a group of young researchers, captured the essence of their achievement. "We didn't win through superior firepower," he explained. "We won through imagination. Through the ability to see possibilities where others saw limitations." As the first interstellar diplomatic agreements were drafted, it became clear that humanity had entered a new era. No longer would they be seen as a young, inexperienced species. They were innovators, problem solvers, a civilization capable of reimagining the very foundations of technological understanding. The Krylonian collective's invasion had backfired spectacularly. Instead of conquering humanity, they had inadvertently revealed the true potential of human innovation. Ethan Rodriguez looked out at the vast expanse of space from the observation deck of the research station. The quantum communication network pulsed around him, a living testament to human creativity, adaptability, and the endless potential of scientific exploration. The universe had just learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation.